Hey, it's time for another verb of the day. Today's verb is climb. Let's take a look at a few definitions. The first meaning for climb is to go or come up a slope, incline, or staircase, especially by using the feet and sometimes the hands. Another word you might hear for climb is ascend, to ascend. So here, one of the things to keep in mind is if you have a surface that is flat, right, you're just walking, right? So climb we want to use for someone going up an incline, something like a staircase or a slope. Okay? Another meaning for climb is to grow in scale, value, or power. So unfortunately, this word climb is something I have heard used in recent news. As people talk more about the number of cases of COVID-19 or coronavirus, some people have described that as the cases have climbed, and then they maybe insert the total number of cases. Climb could also mean to move to a higher position. Sometimes we hear that word used when someone continues to get promoted within a particular organization. Finally, the last meaning we're going to look at here with climb is to move with effort. I think I have a couple examples later that will come back to that. So we're looking at it's something that requires, again, more effort than just simple walking. Okay? Climb is a regular verb. And you might notice as I've been saying the word climb, the B in this word makes no sound, right? So our ending sound is m. Okay? To make the progressive form, all we need to do is add ing, and we have climbing. The past tense and participle forms of this verb are made by adding ed, and that ed is going to make a d sound. So we have the word climbed, climbed. Let's take a look at a few phrasal verbs with climb. The first is climb down, and this means to descend. So it probably makes sense that as we use the word climb, we're always thinking up. So when someone changes that to climb down, that's kind of doing the opposite, going down instead of up. So here it is in an example sentence. After we reach the top of the mountain, we'll climb down. Another phrasal verb you might hear is climb on, and that simply means to move on to something higher by climbing. So again, going to require some sort of effort. Here it is in an example sentence. Our pets frequently climb on the coffee table. The final phrasal verb we're going to look at today is climb out of, and it means to lift oneself out of a place by climbing. So here it is in a sentence. The dog fell into the hole and couldn't climb out of it. So I'm using climb out of with a modal there to talk about past ability, climb out of the hole. So the dog was unable to lift itself out of the hole. Okay. Let's continue using climb in a few different active verb tenses. Today, we'll look at the imperative or commands. We'll also look at simple past tense and present perfect. Let's start with the imperative. Remember, this particular form of verbs is a little bit unique because there is no subject in the sentence. The subject is implied. It could be you, singular, or you, plural. So here's an example of an affirmative. Climb into the front seat. So this is something I remember doing a bit as a child, maybe sitting in the back seat. Whoever was in the front leaves the car, and instead of getting out and just using the doors, right, we'd climb from the back into the front seat. So that goes back to that fourth definition I was talking about earlier about moving with effort. So that was what came to mind with that. If we want to make a negative command, so telling someone not to do something, we want to start our sentence with don't. Okay? So here is an example. Don't climb on the roof. It's too dangerous. That might be something a parent says to a child. Okay? Let's look at simple past tense next. Simple past tense that helps describe activities that were completed at a definite time in the past. To make it a sentence in the affirmative, we're going to use that ed form of climb. And it's going to be the same form no matter what the subject is. Whether it's singular or plural, it's the same. So here it is in a sentence. He climbed 2 mountains in Europe last summer. Okay. If I want to make a negative in simple past tense, though, what I'm going to use is the phrase did not, or the contraction didn't, and then the base verb. Okay. Here is an example. Profits didn't climb last year. So this meaning here is talking about the money a company made and the fact that the earnings did not go up. That's essentially what the sentence is saying. If we want to make a question in the simple past tense, we're going to start with did, then our subject, and then our base verb. Did the kids climb on the furniture yesterday? Okay. Let's look at present perfect next. To make present perfect, we need 2 parts for the affirmative. We're going to use has and the participle form climbed, or have and the participle form. That will depend on our subject. We're using present perfect to either describe an action that happened at an indefinite point in the past. So we don't know. We don't have the specifics like last summer, last year, yesterday. Just at some point in the past, that's one instance. Or it could be an action that started in the past and it continues into the present. Okay. Here's an example in the affirmative. She has climbed the corporate ladder over the last 20 years to become CEO. Okay. So this connects back to one of those earlier definitions I mentioned of climb. So here someone started maybe in what is considered a lower position in a company, was promoted again. Today, this female is CEO, or the Chief Executive Officer. Okay. If we want to make negative in present perfect, we need to insert not after has or have. Here's an example. I haven't climbed the stairs since I broke my leg. Okay. That's describing an action. It started in the past, and it continues until today. Finally, if I want to make a yes or no question in the present perfect, I'm going to start my sentence with have or has, then the subject, then the participle form of the verb. So here's my question. Has she climbed many mountains? Okay. Finally, today, let's look at a few words that are related to our verb climb. The first word is the exact same spelling, exact same pronunciation. It's just a noun, and that's climb. It, as a noun, could mean an ascent. So if you notice, that word is very close to ascend that we talked about earlier. So it's an ascent, especially of a mountain or hill by climbing. Okay? So if you engaged in the activity of climbing, and you're really out of breath by the time you make it up the hill or up the mountain, you could describe that challenge as a difficult climb. So we can tell here that climb is being used as a noun because I have an article, and difficult, an adjective, right before that word. So it's helping signal to me there that it's being used as a noun. Another noun you might hear is climber. This is a person or animal that climbs. Okay. Here it is in a sentence. 2 climbers got lost on the mountain. Okay. Finally, I'm going to leave you today with an idiom. And it's something that I think many parents might be feeling or experiencing if they have children at home and everyone is confined to the house as we all try to continue to shelter in place. So the idiom is climbing the walls. And this is very common for many idioms, but especially this one. This is not literal. So no one is trying to get up the wall. It is a figurative phrase, and it means that someone is feeling anxious or maybe frustrated because the person or people have a lot of energy, but they're unable to do something with that energy. So here it is in an example. Sheltering in place has had many kids climbing the walls. Okay? I don't know if that describes anything that's going on in your homes. I hope not, but I feel like a few of my friends have experienced this in the last month or so. Thanks so much for watching today's video. You're welcome to try and use climb in sentences by making comments on this video, and I will happily offer any feedback that you have. Have a great day.